My name is Batsy Bateman, or ACG guy, depending on the platform. I am a little under the weather, so I apologize for my nasally voice. The Today we're going to get into a classic album review by singer-songwriter Travis Scott. It is Rodeo. This is actually his first album. Technically, he has Days Before Rodeo, but it's kind of more so a follow up. Not a follow up, a preamble, perhaps to the Rodeo. Um, so the album is narrated by Ti kind of throughout, and honestly, in my opinion, out of all of Travis Scott's albums or records, this probably has some of his best rapping on it. It has his most rapping on it. I mean, a lot of stuff is him not singing. Um, you know, because early Travis Scott had most of the influences from Yeezy. Kanye West, and people like Kid Cudi, which Kid Cudi was the singer, but he was more of a melodic guy. But Kid Cudi has a lot of songs where he's not singing at all, and he just kind of has a melodic type of rapping. But just to get far through some of the tracks, because it is a bit lengthy. Not in comparison to something that would come out now. So people have 20-song albums, and the album goes for an hour and 30 minutes. But this album's about 16 songs, I think, and it's like an hour 15. It's a good listen, and the thing is, like, you want to listen to every song. I think the second or third song on the album is like 6 minutes with 2 Chainz, but it's like you want to listen to everything, even if it's just like the instrumental playing in the background. That's how good the production and everything on this album is. Like, to me, this album, like, even though it's not conceptual, it feels like a movie. It just feels like something is happening at all points and times, and I just want to listen to it. Like, I just want to hear everything and everything Travis Scott wants me to hear. So just starting off with Pornography, the leading track list, we kind of get into like the scene, like he kind of sets the scene, and no monogamy. And T.I.'s in there, and he's kind of setting this up and kind of giving us like a backstory of Travis Scott. We know he's a Houston rapper, da 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 da, and it's just a really good intro track, you know. And then after Pornography, we get This My Side, or I don't know. I think it's with Quavo. Great song. Um, then we have 3500 with 2 Chainz and Future. I prefer 2 Chainz verse to Future. I think, honestly, this is a hot take, I guess. This has got to be one of my least favorite Future verses I've ever heard. I don't know if that's just hindsight or whatever it is, but then you get Wasted with Juicy J. Not as memorable as a song, but it is a good song. Obviously, the whole, obviously we know all of these records because, this is arguably one of the best trap albums of all time. Sorry, I did say I was sick. Golly. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to edit, so I can just edit that out. And then after we get to the 5th track, 90210, and by the time I got here, obviously I was like, I know 90210. 90210 was great. Ooh. And people say it's arguably one of the best trap songs. I would say I disagree. I think it's like, I would say it's debatable. It's between like that and probably something that's from Future. But 90210 is a great song. People argue that it's Travis Scott's best song. This review is also going to be a little bit longer because it's a classic album. Sorry. Then you get the Pray for Love with The Weeknd. I think this is one of the first tracks that are collab tracks that Travis Scott and The Weeknd have, and it has the classic like kind of Weeknd kind of kind of like the rapping style that he does, like this rapping singing type of style, and he doesn't really do that as much anymore in the big 2026. Then you have my favorite song off the album, which is actually Nightcrawler, and I think Nightcrawler is the is the best song off this album. I think it kind of combines all the influences of Travis Scott, the Kanye influence, the Cudi influence, with the hummings and the I feel I can really hear Kanye through all this. And, obviously I feel like Sway Lee, he provides with an iconic verse. You have Piss in Your Grave with Kanye West. And I feel like it's a good song. It's iconic. I actually prefer the intro to the song more than the rest of the song. Then you have Antidote, which was actually my introduction into Travis Scott when I was a little youngin'. Antidote was obviously a classic song. It's not really much to say there. Don't you open the window, don't you let out that antidote. You have Impossible, which is, I was a bit unfamiliar with the track, but it's a good track. Then you have the most second, then you have the second most iconic song, which is Maria, I'm Drunk. Now, originally, when I was a bit younger, I was not a fan of this song for some reason. I think it was mostly because it was too long, or I felt like it was too long. But revisiting it, having the intro, having the thug part come in, I feel like when Justin Bieber starts singing, he just hits you with like Justin Bieber killed it on this. This was Justin Bieber in his light skin era. So you get Flying High and then I Can Tell, which are obviously great songs. And then you have the outro track of Apple Pie. And I think you have, there's another song, I think it's called Nothing Something, but it's just a good outro track. Apple Pie is also one of my favorite lyrics from here also. When I say this is a perfect album, I would say no, it's not a perfect album. I'm going to be that hot take type of dude. It's a classic album, yes. I think this is the most perfect trap album. I don't think it's not my favorite trap album, but it's a perfect trap album. If you were to ask me if this is a perfect trap album, yes. This is like peak trap, honestly. I sometimes I wish an Atlanta artist made Rodeo because it's so good. I don't know who would even make something like this from Atlanta, because I feel like to make something so well that was created like this, you have to be an outsider looking in. And even though he integrates 2 Chainz, Future, Quavo, and then he has some of that drill influence, but then he obviously has Sway Lee and and Thug, but this is really a trap album made by an outsider looking in. And Travis Scott has made his career on trap, but he's basically perfected the melodic trap so well to where he doesn't even feel like an outsider anymore. And obviously today we know that he's basically pioneered the wave of melodic trap and brought up people even in his own label like Don Toliver, which is a little bit like co-worker music, but I'll get into that, why I kind of have a disdain for Don Toliver. But that's going to be kind of the review, wrapping it up. I don't want to let this draw on for too long. I'm not trying to make 10-minute videos.